A Fatal Thirst by Bill Nye. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Dale Grothman. A Fatal Thirst by Bill Nye. From the London Lancet we learned that many years ago a case was recorded by Dr. Otto of Copenhagen, in which 495 needles passed through the skin of a hysterical girl who had probably swallowed them during a hysterical paroxysm, but they all emerged from the regions below the diaphragm and were collected in groups, which gave rise to inflammatory swellings of some size. One of these contained 100 needles. Quite recently, Dr. Bigger described before the Society of Surgery in Dublin a case in which more than 300 needles were removed from the body of a woman. It was very remarkable in how few cases the needles were the cause of death, and how slight an interference with function their presence and movement caused. It would seem from the cases on record that needles in the system rather assist the digestion and promote longevity. For instance, we will suppose that the hysterical girl above alluded to, with 495 needles in her stomach, should absorb the midsummer cucumber. Think how interesting those needles would make it for the great colic promoter. We can imagine the cheerful smile of the cucumber as it enters the stomach, and, bowing cheerfully to the follicles standing around, hangs its hat upon the walls of the stomach, stands its umbrella in the corner, and proceeds to get in its work. All at once, the cucumber looks surprised and grieved about something. It stops in its heaven-born colic generation, and pulls a rusty needle out of its person. Maddened by the pain, it once more attacks the digestive apparatus, and once more accumulates a choice job lot of needles. Again and again it enters into the unequal contest, each time losing ground and gaining ground, till the poor cucumber, with assorted hardware sticking out in all directions, like the hair on a cat's tail, at last curls up like a caterpillar and yields up the victory. Still, this needle business will be expensive to husbands if wives once acquire the habit and allow it to obtain the mastery over them. If a wife once permits this demoned appetite for cambric needles to get control of the house, it will soon secure a majority of the Senate, and then there will be trouble. The woman who once begins to tamper with cambric needles is not safe. She may think that she has power to control her appetite, but it is only a step to the maddening thirst for the darning needle, and perhaps the button hook and carpet stretcher. It is safer and better to crush the first desire for needles than to undertake, when it is too late, reformation from the abject slavery to this hellish thirst. We once knew a sweet young creature with dewy eye and breath like Timothy Hay. Her merry laugh rippled out from the summer air like the joyful music of a bald-headed bobolix. Everybody loved her, and she loved everybody too. But in a thoughtless moment she swallowed a cambric needle. This did not satisfy her. The cruel thraldom had begun. Whenever she felt depressed and gloomy, there was nothing that would kill her ennui and melancholy but the fatal needle cushion. From this she became more reckless, till there was hardly an hour that she was not under the influence of needles. If she couldn't get needles to assuage her mad thirst, she would take hairpins or door keys. She gradually pined away to a mere skeleton. She could no longer sit on one foot and be happy. Life for her was filled with opaque gloom and sadness. At last she took an overdose of sheep shears and monkey wrenches one day, and on the following morning her soul had lit out for the land of eternal summer. We should learn from this to shun the maddening needle cushion as we would a viper, and never tell a lie. The end of A Fatal Thirst by Bill Nye,